So before we get into it, want to bring some clarity for anybody that might be a little bit confused. So there's Madison Trust Company and there's Broad Financial. I am on both sides of the coin. We're sister companies. So there's different functions between each company. The crypto solo 401k is fully spearheaded by Broad Financial, self-directed IRAs, and other avenues similar to it would be through Madison Trust Company and Broad Financial. But again, the crypto solo 401k is going to be exclusively through Broad Financial. So there's that. So the crypto solo 401k, it's a catchy name. It's really here to emphasize the use of cryptocurrency investing within the solo 401k vehicle. So I'm going to mostly be talking about the functionality and the eligibility, the tools that come along with the Solo 401k, and then alongside that also how to invest in crypto within it, what you can do with crypto within the plan, and answer any questions at the end. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or Q&A or however this stuff works, and I'll be sure to try and answer some of the questions at the end. So what is the crypto solo 401k? I touched on it already. It goes by a number of different names depending on what company you're talking to. The individual 401k, the I 401k, self-employed 401k, you name it. It is specifically for self-employed individuals that don't have any full-time employees. So the ideal candidate here is going to be somebody that's either a contractor or consultant or just a sole proprietor that they could be incorporated in some capacity, whether an LLC, partnership, corporation. But the key ingredient here is that you cannot have any full-time employees besides you, and possibly a spouse as well would be okay. So if you have full-time employees, shift gears to the self-directed IRA if you're wanting to invest in crypto using retirement funds. Otherwise, we keep trekking along with the solo 401k. So what is the purpose? What is the benefit of the solo 401k in general? Is primarily that it's allowing you to invest in asset classes that you just can't access to the same degree through your typical brokerage firms. So some brokerages now offer some crypto investments, some real estate investments, but it's really not to the same degree. And we all know it, that it's very limited in what you can do, what you can access, how you can hold it, things of that nature. So it's really unlocking full access to certain asset classes. I'll touch on it later, but the way that you can hold the crypto is a biggie for sure with something like this. It's not needing to be held. It's not held by Broad Financial, for example. It's really in your hands as you see fit. So diversification beyond just publicly traded securities, the control over the investments. There's nobody has more responsibility over your funds than you do. And so, yes, you have that responsibility. There's not going to be necessarily a fiduciary behind you. And so that's a pro and a con depending on who you are and how you view it. But you are getting more control for your investments. You also have, as it says, checkbook control. So there's a checking account that really is the driving force behind this. Again, we'll get into that a little bit more later, but the whole purpose here is to put the control, put the access and the flexibility for investments into your hands. There are certainly some restrictions, some things you can't do, but to a large degree, we're unlocking the door, unlocking the vault to allow you to make these types of investments. Solo 401k also, as an advantage over, say, a self-directed IRA, has the ability for you to borrow up to $50,000 from it. and pay that back. That up to $50,000 depends on how much money is actually in the plan. You also, because there's not a custodian linked with a solo 401k like there would be for a self-directed IRA or a more traditional 401k plan, there is much less cost on both the front end and ongoing. It's really nominal costs to maintain an account like this just for compliance purposes, keeping the plan documents in good order as laws and rules and everything change over time. And there's two groupings of people that are looking at the solo 401k. There's the people that have money and qualify, like have retirement funds already, maybe a 401k elsewhere, maybe an IRA that they've been building up over time, and they qualify for the solo 401k and they have crypto investments that they want to make, or they have other alternative investments that they want to make. And so the advantage here is that they can roll all of that into the solo 401k plan and utilize the advantages that come along with it over, say, a self-directed IRA. And that's a huge benefit, to just dump as much money as you can from other qualified retirement accounts into this solo 401k to get you a good kickstart. You can't just put as much of as you want of like personal funds, but certainly of other qualified retirement funds to get the ball rolling, to allow you to invest really how much you're hoping to invest in. There are certain things. Crypto, you can start with as little as just a brand new contribution, which is the other half of people. That's what they're doing. They want to put as much as they can into a retirement plan for the tax benefits of it. And so you can do that with a solo 401k much more than you can with any IRA elsewhere, or even your employer's 401k plan, things like that. The solo 401k is giving you a lot more accessibility in terms of putting as much as you can into it. Speaking of which, the contributions, this depends on the income that you've generated under your self-employment. So aside from any W-2 work that you may have, any W-2 income that you may earn, any whatever, Social Security, any type of government pay does not count towards the income that we're looking at to determine your contribution limits here. So this is income generated from your self-employment work. And so the contribution limits are going to go up to, depending on your age, either $69,000 a year or $76,500 if you're over the age of 50. And so that is considerably more than, say, an IRA that, depending on your age, is $7,000 if you're under 50 or $8,000 if you're over 50. We are nearly 10xing that number to give you as much fuel into the fire as possible. And that's, for self-employed individuals especially, the tax advantages there are tremendous. And important to note, this can be either pre-tax contributions or post-tax contributions. So there is a Roth component that is a heavy component that can be utilized. It's not 69,000 of pre-tax and 69,000 of post-tax. This is total. You choose what your contributions will look like. You can have both pre-tax and post-tax contributions within the same solo 401k plan. That's maybe worth a deeper dive discussion on how that actually plays out. But it's all, just to sum it up quickly, it's really all under one bucket in that same plan that we create for you. And the percentage of the plan that is pre-tax versus post-tax is determined exclusively by the dollar amount of contributions that went towards each of them. So as an easy example, if you contributed $1,000 and 700 of that was pre-tax and 300 of it was post-tax, you've got a 70-30 split on your solo 401k between pre-tax and post-tax. So if that grows you do well with an investment. Now it's worth $10,000. So now your pre-tax portion is worth $7,000 and your post-tax portion is worth $3,000. So it just follows the line. You can't exclusively designate a particular investment for the Roth funds. It's all commingled, for lack of a better word, into one pile, and again, determined based on the contribution amounts initially. So to get into the crypto side, on the screen here are a number of exchanges that you can go through that other clients have utilized. There's pros and cons to everything, just like in life. The key here that I want to touch on is that the exchange is just a piece of the puzzle. So, and we'll go into it a little bit more, I think, on the next slide, but there's a checking account. That's the checkbook control piece of it. And then there's the crypto account with the exchange of your choosing. So you're initially putting funds into the checking account. From the checking account, you're moving the funds into the crypto account to buy and sell as you see fit. And then an added component, an added layer that you just can't get in a traditional setting, period. I haven't seen it, at least, maybe someday, but not yet. We allow you to hold the crypto in cold storage or as you see fit. So you can leave it on the exchange, you can take it off the exchange. There are some nuances there. You can't be commingling funds in a wallet that is holding personal assets as well. It has to be completely separate, clean cut. You don't want to mix things around with personal assets. That's where you're going to get into sticky situations. But if you buy a wallet designated for your Solo 401k, you can absolutely have those funds from the checking account into the crypto account, buy what you choose, and then transfer it into the wallet. And you've got full access, full control over your crypto holdings. And then, yeah, on the screen there, like I said, there's pros and cons to all these options, but I'll leave that to you guys to review and consider. Maybe take a screenshot or a picture of the screen if that would be helpful, and you can review these after the fact. Also, I'm always happy to talk through some of these on a one-on-one consultation. If you want to shoot me an email afterwards, happy to go in more detail on that. So now onto the steps in the process and how the flow works, how the structure works, all of that. The first thing you're doing is you're going through an application with Broad Financial to create the Solo 401k plan. It's not specifically for crypto, although you will, on the application, you will check off that you're interested in investing in crypto within it. That just helps us help you, so we know what your plan is doing to a degree that we can provide you with educational content and resources to guide you, but it doesn't limit you to only crypto. So the Solo 401k plan would allow you to do anything allowable under the guidelines of the IRS. Anybody that's listening to this, though, is also going to be interested specifically into crypto, but that doesn't limit you, and that's really important. So you can have a brokerage account within this plan. You can have real estate holdings within this plan. You can invest in precious metals within this Solo 401k. You can do a lot of things, invest in private companies. All of that is allowable under this Solo 401k plan. So you go through the application. That's step one. Step two is a trust is created. So Broad Financial will work up the documents for the plan, which specifically is creating a trust entity. That's the vehicle through which you're doing everything else. So once we give you the trust documents, you then will receive instructions on how to go about creating the checking account for that trust in the name of the trust. Once the checking account is created, then step 4 is actually moving funds into this. And this is not just a one and done type scenario. You can roll funds from either an old 401k plan from a previous employer or an existing IRA held somewhere else, or even another solo 401k that you might have at a more traditional brokerage house. You can roll funds from that into this solo 401k plan, into the trust's checking account specifically. And then once that happens, you're off and running. You're able to, like I said before, move the funds into an account with the exchange of your choosing. Again, the account is an institutional account. It's set up in the name of the trust, just like the checking account, just like any other account you might set up, brokerage account, for example. It all is set up in the name of the trust that we create for you. You name the trust, we set up the documents for it. And then every year you do have to make contributions to the Solo 401k. So you have to continue to be eligible for the Solo 401k. You have to make contributions each year. It doesn't have to be a crazy amount, but you have to contribute something to the plan each year to remain eligible to continue having it. If at some point you no longer become eligible, you can absolutely roll, or you should probably roll the whatever holdings you have in the Solo 401k into a self-directed IRA. Again, that's where Madison Trust Company is going to come into the picture. They would be the custodian overseeing the self-directed IRA that would be created in that event. And we can talk through that, but that is the general overview of the steps in the process. And so to go over more of the specifics here, what you're getting when we're handing you the trust documents, you're getting the plan documents, you're getting the trust documents, you're getting a tax ID number, you're getting more resources specific to what you can and can't do, how to set up specific accounts, and how not to do certain things. That's really what you're getting. So you're getting a big digital binder of documents that you can always refer back to that will have what you need. In terms of how quickly it is actually getting set up, it's typically 4 business days or less to have those documents sent to you from the time that we receive your application. It's important to note you need to get the application and the plan set up prior to year end if you want to make contributions for this tax year. You have to get the plan established prior to year end. So just some food for thought there. And then in terms of the costs, very, very simple, straightforward fee structure. It's $995. So a one-time setup fee to create the Solo 401k plan that holds the trust, that holds everything else within it, and then $149 a year to maintain. It's the annual compliance service that's keeping the plan documents in good order, that's providing you with the necessary support when you have questions, if you need help with something, if you're not sure of how to do something or what not to do. Our support team is wonderful. You can always reach out to them and talk things through. And so that's part of what you're getting for that $149, but really it's to make sure that the plan documents are all in good order. Why Broad Financial specifically? We have been in business now 15 years. I've been here a little over 6 years at this point, and I've seen tremendous growth, tremendous success from people. We're not the ones telling you what to invest in or what not to invest in. You're in the driver's seat. You're making those decisions, and we love to see you thriving based on your own decisions. We're not charging you based on a value-based fee or anything like that. Your growth in the account is your own to keep within the retirement account. We have wonderful reviews online everywhere. You can check us out online for the great reviews. We've got over 20,000 clients. Over $4 billion is held through us and our sister company, Madison Trust. So yeah, we're not some mom and pop shop. We have been doing this for a while. We know what we're doing. We're here to help. And really, this might sound simple, but it's what I always tell everybody because it holds so true. And I see people come back to us after choosing somebody else, is they realize that the service quality is not something to take for granted. It's worth it to pay a couple extra bucks in some instances to know that you don't have to worry when you have a question. You don't have to stay in a state of confusion when something inevitably happens, or you're not sure what should be happening. These types of plans are largely in your hands. They're largely your responsibility. But to have, so especially to have somebody behind you when you have questions is all the more important. It's not so much for money movement or anything like that, like would be an advantage of Madison Trust Company for a self-directed IRA. It's really having access to a team of experienced and knowledgeable support service agents, and so that's huge. It should go without saying, but it doesn't always, and so worth noting there. So I mean, this is a great tool for anybody who's looking to invest in crypto, who has retirement funds or has the eligibility to set up one of these retirement accounts. But certainly reach out to me with any questions that you may have. I'm happy to chat and talk things through.